Hey everyone, welcome to another YouTube video. I'm your host, Spidercides, and for today's video is going to be a build video on the best, in my opinion, best Omnioculus build for your character in Destiny 2. Now, if it's your first time here, be sure to watch until the very end and let me know what you think. Leave a comment, hit that like or dislike button, because this is my first time. I've never done a build video before. I'm traditionally only ever done fashion videos. So if you guys like what you see, I definitely want to do more. I have some build ideas that can work well with different classes, and I'd love to share it with everyone. Now, be sure to subscribe for more content in the future so that way you never miss a moment, as well as follow me on my Twitter and TikTok pages. So for this video, I'm going to go over all of the pieces, all of the shaders, and the mods for both PvE and PvP content, and in my opinion this works really well for all of the master and of course GMs. So without further ado, let's begin with the transmog screen here. So this is easily one of my favorite looks that I've ever done out of all my fashion designs. I'm a huge fan of Omnioculus and I love the unique look behind it, but let's be honest, it doesn't really look good with a lot of shaders out there. So it was tough to find something that worked well, and I didn't want to do the traditional white or black colors. I wanted to do something more vibrant that just stood out and was unique in some way, shape, or form. So this is the way I ended up doing things. I used the same shader for all of the pieces, which is the Callus's Treasured. I think it looks great, and it gives a good blend with the yellow and purple colors. Now, when it comes to the helmet, we went with the Tangled Web Mask, of course. I wanted to go with something more spider themed, hence my name, Spidercides. And that works well with the cloak being used. For the gauntlets, we went with the Chaos's Care. It gives that gold plating with the purple sleeves. And then I chose the same one for the Chaos's Strides when it comes to the leg pieces here, which does the same thing with the gold plating and then the purple sleeves for the legs there. Now, when it comes to the cloak, I went with the Solstice Cloak Resplendent. It gives that nice gold plating on the back. It looks great. It blends well. And you could go with the other version that has that glow effect. I personally don't like it. So I went with this option here just to give that clean look. And then here is the closer look of the Omnioculus, which I think looks so cool. This is what it looks like with the other one. I don't like the ornament with this look personally, but totally up to you what you want to do. This is personally my style of what I wanted to fulfill in the game. So if you want to look like this character, here you go. Now let's go over the best PvE build for Omnioculus. We have a triple 100 build where we have 100 focused on mobility, discipline, and strength. In my opinion, these are the 3 stats you want to focus on. And then we have resilience at the 5 stat. I'm hoping to get another piece to push that to 6. And then with Omnioculus providing that higher resistance, it basically, pushes this to 100. Because you're going to have that ×4 resistance when you're invisible. So definitely something good to have. But if you can't push the 5 stat, try to get at least 4 for resilience. So for mobility being at 100, we have our marksman dodge at 15 seconds. If you use gambler's dodge, it would be 19. I personally like to going with the other option so I can be invisible as much as possible. For the discipline, we're dropping this down to 47 seconds, which is great. You can get that nade as quickly as possible. And then my favorite is strength. Since you're getting 2 nades with Omnioculus, you're going to get your melee at 35 seconds, and you're going to have 2 of them available, right? So this is a great option to just have that utility and being able to help out your teammates. And then for both recovery and intellect, we have it at the 3 stat. Recovery, I didn't really worry about, since if you're invisible, you can just wait for your health to regen. And then for intellect, let's face it, you don't really need your super all the time. So you're definitely going to get it multiple times in something like a GM, especially that Lightblade GM, which is a pain to say the least. So we have the NIGHTSTALKER Super with the Shadow Shot Morbius Quiver. This is the new one that got updated for Witch Queen, one of my favorites. And again, we have the Marksman Dodge here. And then we have triple jump. You can use any jump that you want. I just personally like triple jump. We have the snare bomb, aka the smoke bomb. And then we have the vortex grenade. I like this one since it will help pull enemies together. And depending on the fragment, you can also blow them up. But you could also use suppressor or even the scatter grenade. For the aspects, I went with Trapper's Ambush. This is where you can do that quick fall and making all of your allies and yourself invisible, and it creates that smoke cloud. So I personally like this, but I mainly went with this aspect in order to get that smoke bomb to make my allies invisible, and it also attaches to surfaces and weakens my targets. So this is really cool in terms of that there. I like this aspect. And then we have the Vanishing Step. This is where you can dodge and make yourself invisible. So since you're going to get your dodge every 15 seconds, thanks to it being 100 stat, you can just dodge, survive, leave your smoke nades for your teammates and then dodge for yourself. I don't like using Gambler's Dodge since you're wasting 4 more seconds and every second counts in a gym like Lightblade. So I personally like going with that option. And when it comes to DPS, sometimes you want to dodge and reload quicker, reload that, that Gallahorn as quickly as possible. So this is the option I went with. Now for fragments, I went with Echo of Expulsion. I went with that so I can get the +10 intellect stat, and the void ability Final Blows cause targets to explode, and this is why I went with that Vortex nade. Now we have the Echo of Obscurity. This is where we have the +10 recovery, and this means that finisher Final Blows will grant invisibility. So in moments where you're using the Lucent Finisher and you're going to finish a champion enemy, now you're going to be invisible. You're going to get that resistance thanks to the exotic, and there's no pain in order to finish that champion or any enemy in general. Then for this one, you can use any fragment. I went with Echo of Leeching in order to get that +10 resilience. And you know what? The perk is actually pretty good because melee Final Blows start health regeneration for you and nearby allies. So it's a really cool perk. I don't really see you utilizing it all the time, which is why I went for the stat. But an option, you can utilize Devour, whatever you prefer. But this is the way I went with. Now, when it comes to each of the pieces, let's start with the helmet. I went with the +10 discipline mod. For the ammo finder, it really depends what I'm utilizing. In this case, we have linear fusion, but you can use rocket launcher, whatever you want, essentially. It really depends on what activity you're using. And then I had a 1 stat left for Harmonic Siphon. So this is where you can get rapid weapon Final Blows with damage matching my subclass, which will create an orb of power, hence why we're using Taking Charge. Now, when it comes to the arms, we went with a +10 strength, and then this is typically depending on the activity. So I'm going to use a champion mod, and if I have room, then I'm going to utilize the fastball to increase my grenade throw distance. And then we end things off with the powerful friends to increase that mobility stat. Now here's a closer look of the exotic, and if you're not familiar with the perk, it's Beyond the Vial. You gain a second smoke grenade charge, and you're able to have damage resistance while invisible, and you can make your allies invisible. They also get damage resistance while they're invisible. You gain melee energy. This exotic is awesome, and I'm hoping to get a higher roll in the future. Hopefully my luck can come on my side, and we'll find something better. But in terms of the mods, we went with a +10 strength. For this, it really depends on the activity. So I'm going to use some sort of resistance mod here. In this case, we have sniper damage, and then we have thermal shack plating. So it really depends what you're utilizing for. And then we end things off with the high energy fire. Now, when it comes to the legs, we have a +10 discipline. We have Invigoration, which I really like. It helps reduce melee cooldown each time you pick up an orb of power. So hence why we want to be able to make our allies invisible. We're also going to get that, but it also speeds up the process in case we're on our own or not next to an ally. Now we also have Absolution, which reduces all ability cooldowns each time you pick an orb of power. And then we also have Radiant Light in order to push that strength stat. And then finally, we have the +10 discipline on our cloak. And then this will depend again on the activity, but I love Lucent Finisher. And I pretty much only do like endgame content like GMs and raids. And having Lucent Finisher is just fun. I love it. It's an easy perk to just put on. It takes only 6, at least it's not 7. And then you can end things off with Shield Break Charge, so that way you can continue becoming charged with light. So definitely an option there. Now let's go over the toxic PvP build that I use in Destiny 2. And before I get any comments below or get my name tagged on Twitter or Reddit, don't take it seriously. This is just a fun build I like to use. Let's face it, we all hate hunters going invisible, especially in trials, but I want to get the advantage. So if I'm able to do this, I want to do it. So I made an easy way to go from the PvP build that you saw in this video to the PvP side. So it utilizes the same stats, same triple 100 build, same fragments, same super, same aspects, same everything, except I switched some mods from some of my pieces. So when it comes to the helmet, it really depends on your playstyle. I like to use hand cannons a lot, like Dire Promise or let's say Ace of Spades. So I'm using hand cannon targeting here, but you can switch things up. Totally up to you. When it comes to the arms, I'm using hand cannon dexterity. Same reason as the helmet. So you can switch things up if you like fusion rifle loader. Up to you. Depends on your playstyle and what you want to use in trials or control, etc. For Omnioculus, we're going with the unflinching shotgun aim. Since I am invisible, I'm going to get close and personal with my targets, especially in trials. So this is going to help reduce that flinch. Not a lot, but at least does something when I'm getting shot at. And then I usually put a random mod here since none of these work in PvP. I just put like a random mod just to fill in that spot there. And then for the legs, we have the Invigoration, which helps reduce melee cooldown each time we pick up an Orb of Power. And then Absolution, which reduces all ability cooldowns when I'm picking up that Orb of Power. So this is going to be toxic in PvP. Since you're making your allies invisible, you're picking up their orbs. I get it. Please don't write anything in the comments. I'm sorry if I've upset you. And then we switched out the Lucent Finisher that was here for the PvE side, and we switched it with Utility Kickstart, so that way you can get your dodge a lot quicker. And then we also have Distribution, where it reduces all my ability cooldowns when using my dodge next to an enemy. So this is definitely something good since you're going to be close and personal in trials and other PvP modes. And yeah, it's a fun build. I love it. I know it's toxic, but it's definitely something that makes it easy to transition from PvE to PvP. So if you want to use it, let me know what you think. And if you stayed until the end, this is a bit of a long video. I really appreciate it. If you liked what you saw, let me know what you think below. Hit that like or dislike button. Subscribe for more content. I'm still going to do fashion videos. I'm still going to post a lot of content there. But yeah, let me know what you think. If you like what you see, I definitely want to do more build videos. Follow me on Twitter and TikTok as well as Instagram. And yeah, as always, I'll see you next time.